Hello everyone. Welcome to my session 4 teaching memo. I am in the midst of getting over a cold, although I feel pretty good today. I was fighting it off all week, and then I had a miserable day Saturday night, Saturday night. But Sunday I was fine. So Dr. Laura was giving me all kinds of off-the-counter medicine in a valiant attempt to stave off the dreaded winter cold, and I think she did it. But the good news is, spring is a little over 2 weeks away. Yay! We had a snow day here in Dutchess County on Friday, Ulster County as well. New York City and the area seem to have avoided it. When I was a principal, I always marveled at how excited not the kids, but my teachers got when there was a chance of a snowstorm canceling school, or especially if it snowed while we were in school. Are we going home? When are we going home? It looks like another one is coming in on Wednesday night. This last one was pretty bad. A lot of areas around here lost power. Some are still without it today. On another note, sadly, the Red Sox went down to defeat in their first spring training encounter with the evil Empire. For those of you who don't know who that is, it is not Darth Vader, it is the New York Yankees. But this is just spring training, and these games do not count. Nothing to get excited or discouraged about. Also, March Madness and bracketology is about to begin. I used to fill out a bracket, but I don't waste my time on that anymore. Okay, little housekeeping. This session was the first time that I have launched the test on special ed assessment. Thanks to several of you, I've been working out the bugs, especially in the fill in the blanks section. Several of you made spelling areas, especially on the word accommodations. 2 C's, 2 M's. So I went through and I believe I accepted the misspelling. I don't know if I put it into the accepted answers or not, but I went through and I think I gave credit to most of you who misspelled accommodations. I also went through and changed or added answers. So if in an update, and Blackboard updated or upgraded your test automatically. So if you saw your grade change without you doing anything, that's why. I've graded many DEJs. I was impressed with the depth of many of them and the conversational style of your writing, which is exactly what I want. I don't want note-taking, and I don't want a whole list of wonderings. I wonder about this, I wonder about this, I wonder about that. I use it to tell me how you can apply what you're learning in a conversation by talking to the author or talking to the text. I encountered many that were over 5 pages, which in 5 pages I would consider sufficient. I would say the average is about 6 pages. As I mentioned, the DEJ is not a note-taking assignment. It's you having a dialogue with the text. In this case, it was the Salvia et al., Chapter 2. You paste what you consider big ideas of the text on the left-hand column. So those are where you're supposed to cut and paste quotes. And then your connections, opinions, reactions on the right-hand side. Cutting and pasting quotes from the readings, in my opinion, is not reacting. I want to hear your voice. As I mentioned in feedback to many of you, it's okay occasionally to make a little snippet to really accentuate what you're trying to say, but not as a substitute for your own opinions or connections. I received several emails about uploading your initial post. In these two discussion boards, Grade the DEJs, which is last session, and Favorite Intervention, there was no link to do this for a reason, which meant I was not worried about having them checked for Safe Assign. Besides, Safe Assign really can't check your video anyway. I also would like to remind everyone that I have a Facebook assessment Facebook page. I think I mentioned this before, and I'll click on it here just to show you. I try to update it regularly. I add to it. It's a way for you to keep up to date with not just what's going on in the assessment world. There I am in all my summer glory. But you'll see that there are posts that this is the latest one I added. When students are traumatized, teachers are too. Students coming to school with trauma is a big thing now, in how to deal with those kids. So that's something that you can like. If you like it, you'll get notices when I add something to it. Just a reminder that I'm available for office hours. Nobody's taken advantage of that yet. Most of you are emailing me or using the Remind app, which is fine. Occasionally, some of you are texting me. Just make sure you put your name. If you text me, put your name there. Your first name is fine. I know most of you now by your first names. But I don't have your phone numbers in my contact list, so your name doesn't come up. So make sure you put your name if you are texting me. So if you want to do a face-to-face and see me, I can do screen sharing through Zoom. That's always available. Monday nights is the only night I really set aside for that. And but if you text me and I'm not doing anything, I will do it. As most of you know, I respond to you pretty quickly, and that's the way I like it. I know most of you are looking for answers right away because you're working on things and you need to get them done. So that's a little reminder about my office hours. Some big ideas about the last session. Observation. We didn't have a discussion board on the observation process, but I added a detailed matching part to the test on special ed, and I also filtered in a few other questions as well. Many of you will write lesson plans for your classroom or for the EdTPA where you will use observation as your primary form of formative assessment. You need to know that there are formal ways of collecting data to inform your instruction, and just walking around and watching is not always an accurate approach, and you may not get away with that if you're doing your EdTPA. I would need to have more of an explanation of how you're collecting data and what you're doing with that data, rather than just saying, oh, Joey's struggling over here. We are also going to visit this assessment approach a little later on in a couple of sessions. We're going to have a discussion board where you compare selected response, performance assessment, and observation as assessment. So we're not done with it. The favorite intervention discussion board is one of my favorites, as I mentioned before, because I get to see all of you, and also I get to see a lot of different interventions. Many of you presented as if you were teaching us, which is exactly what I wanted. So in the future, I might be altering this rubric because you were showing models, you were showing task cards, you were showing intervention worksheets that really enhanced your presentation, and it would encourage us to want to perhaps use it in our classroom. So I'm thinking of adding that to the rubric. I'm not crazy about this rubric to begin with, so I think it needs a little upgrading. You may notice that I haven't closed the favorite intervention DB in case some of you want to go back and look at some interventions. I hope that you do that. I will not count any posts you make, but you can certainly comment on some of your classmates' posts. There are also some of you who presented on the last 1 or 2 days where your videos did not work, or you didn't even post a video. This assignment was specific. It was clear. You had to do a 3 to 5 minute video explaining research-based intervention. So those of you who wanted to do just a recording, or those of you who added links that didn't work, you're going to have to go back in and edit your posts. and make that sure that you have a video there. So I will be grading your DEJs during the week and the discussion boards. So this is going to be a long process. So please be patient. I know some of you want to know your grade right away, but it takes me usually all week and into the weekend to grade these, to grade your discussion boards, because I make, as those of you that have done them already, you can see that I make comments on your right on your writing. So that's it for session 4. Make sure you look at my session 5 assignment video, which will be on the Learning Activities Assignment folder.